What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie. This is Lucy. And in this video, we're taking a look at a game called Pavlov's Dogs. So stick around. Before we get started, if you're new to our channel and you want to see more content like this, start now by hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, so Pavlov's Dogs is a memory and conditioning game. It is going to be on Kickstarter 14 January 2020. It is being published by Ninth Level Games. This will be their 10th Kickstarter. They've produced 9 successful Kickstarters in the past, so this will be their 10th Kickstarter, and I can't see why it wouldn't be successful. The idea for Pavlov's Dogs comes from Dr. Ivan Pavlov, who, if you don't know who Dr. Ivan Pavlov is, he created the idea that you could condition an animal, specifically a dog, he figured out how to get them to salivate at the sound of ringing a bell. He would give a dog a treat, ring a bell, give a dog a treat, ring a bell. And this conditioning eventually caused to where he would ring the bell first, and the dog would assume that he was going to get a treat. So that's kind of, in a sense, what you're trying to do in this game. It is fully co-op. You're not, in a sense, just trying to beat the game. You are also trying to get a high score. So, the score of the game is given a rating, A+, A, B+, B, etc. And that all will depend on how well you do during your tests as these dogters. It's a play on the word doctor, obviously. So you're going to get a bunch of your friends together. You're going to pick a difficulty, easy, medium, or hard, and you're going to see if you can condition your brain to remember everything that you're supposed to do throughout the rounds to be either a good boy or a bad boy. So if you'll join me on the table, we will take a look. Okay, so first off, I have to say that this is most likely a prototype copy that I got here. It didn't come in a box. It doesn't have official rules. I had to print the rules out myself, which is fine, but the components that did come with the game are really nice. The cards are really well made. The art on it is super cute. You have your test cards. Your test deck is the deck that will be divvied out among the players, and it has inside of it, it has cards that have commands. So you have speak, shake, beg, sit, roll, etc. They also come in multiple colors. You have yellow, brown, blue, and like a gray or a white. And then there's also numbers like you see in the top left and bottom right corner of the cards. And these all those different things play an important part in the game as you're trying to make a dog pile in the middle to get to the end of the game, essentially. And I'll explain more about that in a minute. It also came with some bone tokens. Each player that plays is going to get 3 bone tokens. And not only does this determine, these are kind of like your health value. You lose 1 when you don't perform a correct action. And once you're out kind of thing. But also these work towards what it is that you're going to score at the end of the game. So as a group, you'll count out how many bones that you have left in play, and that will coordinate with the chart that's in the rulebook to tell you how well you scored against the tests that you did. It also came with a like a documents folder. This is just a prototype that the designers made up. But once you reveal the conditions for the round that you're playing, you'll put them inside this folder and tuck them away. so that they can't be looked at again. It goes with that whole memory thing. You're trying to memorize what the conditions are. And obviously, the more conditions that you have to remember, the harder that the game is. Which leads us to the last component, which are the actual doctors themselves. Now, all these doctors were designed after specific veterinarians and doctors that have specialized in stuff like this in the past, which is pretty cool. And it also has some really cute artwork on there. That's where the cool came from that I just said. I didn't know if I was going to say cute or cool, and it came out cool. So there are a bunch of different ones. Each doctor has like 5 of them. So you have Abby Maslow there, Anna Fetch. They are your easy doctors. Emmanuel Mutt and John B. Wagson. They are your medium doctors. Sigmund Fetch. And let's see, Maggie Washpaw. They are your hard doctors. And then you have Kali Jung and Bark F. Skinner. They're your very hard doctors. And those are the components that you need for the game. So let's set up for a round, and I'll show you how it plays. Okay, so here I have set up for a 2-player game. The game does play 2 to 8 players, and I have selected that we are going to play an easy game. Now, the difficulty that you determine is based on how many of these doctor cards you are going to play with, or how many conditions you need to remember throughout the game. Easy is 3. Medium, or what they call dog. So easy is puppy, it is 3. Medium is dog, it is 5. And hard is wolf, and that is 8 conditions. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to choose 1 condition at random from each of the doctors. So I've chosen 1 from Abby, I've chosen 1 from Anna, and I've chosen 1 from Emmanuel. So even at its easiest, you're going to have 2 easy and 1 medium to choose from here. And the person that the doctor is random each time. And so basically what I would do if I was the doctor, I would choose one of these cards. I'm going to choose this one here. And this one says, bark when fetch cards are played. So now anytime a fetch card is played on the table, the person who played that fetch card has to bark. And now I'm going to put this away so no one can see it. We have to all remember that you bark when a fetch card is played. So then we would play our cards. So I'm going to play, for example here, I'm going to play this 5, and I'm going to say out loud 5. I just say the number, and then the doctor would tell me if I was a good dog or a bad dog. Now I've met the conditions. I said the number, and I didn't have to bark when I fetched, so because I didn't play a fetch card, obviously, and so I would be a good dog. And turn would then pass to the next player. So the next player you see here, he has a fetch card right here. So he is going to play this 1 on top of this 3. So you add the numbers together, which makes 6. So he would say 6, and then he would bark. And that's it. Now, let's say, for example, he played the 1, said 6, but didn't bark. That would give him a bad dog, because he didn't follow the conditions that the game has laid out for him, as seen on Abby's card here. So, he would be a bad dog. Bad dogs have bones taken away from them, and then play continues. After each round, dogs may redistribute their bones to allow each player to have at least 1 bone and keep playing. So in this case, at the end of this round, I could give one of my bones to the other player to make sure that it's, you know, kind of evenly distributed. If he had lost all of his bones during his turn, the same thing can apply there. I can give him a bone so that he can keep playing. If at any time a player does not have any bones left and there's no way to redistribute them, then the game is over with. You need to have at least one bone per player in order to keep going into the next round. And the round ends once you have run out of test cards. Every player in the game has run out of test cards, and you shuffle them up and then repass out new ones for the next round. The next person would pick a Dogter card. In this case, it's sick cards are 1. So now you're remembering, you have to remember that you bark on fetch cards and sick cards are 1. So in this case, you know, if I had a sit over here, this is the current dog pile that we're working off of. We're at a 6, and I were to play this 5, it's actually a 1. So I'm going to say 7 instead of 11. And if I get it, again, if I get it wrong, I lose a bone. So on easy mode, you're using only 3 cards. But I could definitely see, as a challenge to the game, using 8 of these and having to remember all of them while keeping all of your bones would be quite a challenge. And that's where the fun comes from. So let's say, for example, all of our bones were left. We would then go to the chart in the rule book, and you would see here the number of players versus how many bones are left. So we played a 2-player game. Let's say we didn't lose any bones. We got an A+ score. If we got all the way down and we only had 2 bones left at the end of the game, we would get a C score. You can kind of see how scoring works, and all that stuff. So I hope that that makes sense, and I hope that you can see, you know, by me explaining it, just how fun the game can be. And sure, is it silly for a bunch of adults are playing, for example, to bark every time you play a fetch card? Sure, but that's kind of the point. It's supposed to be light and fun, and it's definitely not just for dog lovers. It is also for you know, anybody that enjoys a challenge and enjoys kind of that memory brain busting type of play. It's definitely a game that I could see getting for, again, dog lovers, but also for children who like this sort of game, and for even adults that like you know, big 8-player games that will allow them to kind of work their mind a little bit. Alright guys, well that is Pavlov's Dogs. This game is nothing like any game that I have ever played before, and that's a good thing. I really enjoyed the complexity of learning a new game, a new style of game that I had never played before. When you first pick it up and you first start reading the rules, you're like, you have to get out of the mentality that you're not working against the other players, that you're working cooperatively. I haven't played a ton of cooperative games in the past, so I'm glad to be able to add this one to my shelf. And I do love dogs, obviously, as you saw my dog in the beginning of the video. So that little art, that cuteness of it really goes a long way with me. And I think if you're in that same mindset, I think it'll go a long way with you as well. I also think that it's great for kids. I have a 11, 12, and 15-year-old. I think this game fits right into that category. I can be very easy in the beginning, but you can definitely add challenge really, really quickly, and things can get out of hand quite fast. So, like I said, this game is launching on Kickstarter January 14th of 2020. I will add a link to all of that in the description once that has gone live and launched. I will leave a link to Ninth Level Games website in the description now, just so that you guys can be on standby and wait for this one. Don't sit on it. It'll definitely be one of their successful Kickstarters, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I did. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. Make sure that you share it with your family, your friends, and your nerdy communities. If you have any suggestions for our channel, anything you'd like to see us feature, let us know in the comments section down below. We'd love to hear from you. I do read all of those, and I do reply. If you have any videos you would like featured on our page, make sure to hit us up on one of our many social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Circle of Nerds. We also have a podcast, comes out every Tuesday, called The Cosmic Disaster Show. It is also now being featured on YouTube. You can find that on any one of the many platforms that have podcasts: iTunes, SoundCloud, all of that good stuff. And for a little bit of extra love, make sure that you check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Circle of Nerds. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I will see you in the next video.